Hello, everybody. My name is Brennan Halligan, and for this presentation, I chose Valacyclovir. Valacyclovir is otherwise known as Valtrex. Valtrex is actually the brand name, and the generic name is Valacyclovir. And this is an antiviral drug used to treat symptoms of herpes zoster, which is shingles, and varicella zoster, which is chickenpox. It also helps treat symptoms of the common cold sore and genital herpes. And below, I included the chemical makeup and name of this drug, and that is valacyclovir hydrochloride. And why I chose this drug is I have personal experience with it. Uh, so this is a picture of the spring semester of my freshman year, and this is actually when I contracted shingles in my right ear, and I chose this picture because frankly the picture of the shingles in my ear was really gross. So I chose this, and because these shingles were in my ear, it paralyzed that right side of my face, and it also gave me vertigo and damaged a bunch of cranial nerves, which is why I couldn't smile, facial paralysis. I couldn't hear, taste, or smell out of the right side, and I couldn't blink with my right eye. That's how paralyzed I was. And as I was going to the 4 or 5 different doctors that I went to for this, one of them prescribed me valacyclovir. And this is the one that I remember because I remember it took me a whole week to kind of master how to say it. So now it's just second nature. But this is the one that I remember, and I have personal experience with it. So I wanted to share more information with you guys. So it falls under a class called nucleoside analogs. And what they do is they mimic one of the building blocks of DNA. It stops the spread of the herpes virus within the body by preventing replication necessary for the virus to multiply. Its intended use, again, antiviral drugs are used to treat or prevent chickenpox in children and shingles in adults, as well as common cold sores and genital herpes. This presentation is more geared towards shingles and chickenpox because that's what I have experience with. And then the efficacy for valacyclovir after initiated can last up to 72 hours after the onset of the rash. So the physiology behind valacyclovir, its mechanism of action occurs within the GI tract where the drug is rapidly converted to acyclovir. It intracellularly phosphorylated by the viral encoded thymidine kinase, resulting in acyclovir monophosphate. And then it is further broken down to acyclovir triphosphate that inhibits the replication of the virus in 3 different ways: competitive inhibition of viral DNA polymerase, incorporation and termination of the growing viral DNA chain, and the inactivation of the viral DNA polymerase. A bunch of phrases that basically can be wrapped up in it stops the replication of the viral DNA chain. It is administered orally with or without meals is what it's officially registered as, but my doctors all told me that I should take it with a meal. I remember taking it every time I took it, my mom would wake me up to eat a piece of bread so that I could take it. It's in the form of a tablet. It's a very large blue tablet, and it is compatible with other medications as I was on many medications at this time. And because this is a antiviral drug that is used for many different age groups and purposes, I split up the dosages between the two for children and adults. For herpes labialis, dosage recommendations between adults and children is the same. It's 2 grams twice daily for 1 day, taken 12 hours apart. And then for children and chickenpox from ages 2 to 18, is 20 milligrams administered 3 times daily for 5 days. And then for the adult onset version of chickenpox, which is shingles, which is what I had, it was 1 gram 3 times daily for 7 days. So I would wake up from my nap, which was usually caused by the other medications because they just knocked me out. I'd wake up for it 3 times a day, usually had maybe 3 or 4 pieces of bread a day to take this. But this is exactly the regime I was on. Some side effects and adverse reactions for this drug. Side effects include headache, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, agitation, and fever. And I can confidently say that I experienced all of these at least one point during my shingles episode. But thank goodness I didn't experience any of these adverse reactions, which is thrombotic, thrombocytopenic purpura, or hemolytic uremic syndrome, which is basically a bunch of platelet clumps forming within small blood vessels. And then another serious adverse reaction is acute renal failure. And this is when your kidneys are suddenly unable to filter waste products from your blood. So in conclusion, Valacyclovir is an antiviral drug used for a virus that not a lot of people think about. You always see it in commercials about shingles, but you never worry about it because we're at that age where you think you don't have to worry about it. Well, turns out you do. With that being said, it's used by many age groups for many different purposes. It's for the whole herpes simplex, including shingles, chickenpox, cold sores, and genital herpes. For children all the way to adults, and its main goal or its main purpose is to stop the replication of the virus within the DNA chain. Thank you guys for listening, and here